Okay, so welcome to your first project for Access. As always, make sure that you save your file name with an _2 rather than _1. So you'd go to File and Save As. Okay, so I've got my instructions printed. I'm going to read from those. Number 1 says Personal Insurance Incorporated is a national company that insures homeowners and renters. It also offers umbrella policies that provide additional coverage. As a regional manager, you've decided to create an Access database to better manage information on customers and policies. Create a new table in Data Sheet View with the following options. Okay, so what Access is that you create the bulk of your information in your tables, and then you have queries, forms, and reports. Forms and reports are nice aesthetic ways to find and present, or to present your data. Queries are questions, so you're asking questions of the tables. Say you have in a table you have customers, so say you have every customer that bought something in September, and maybe there was a price change on whatever it was that you were selling that month. So you would put in a query and ask it to return all customers that bought the thing that was the price change was put onto. So say they bought a box of Kleenex, a certain box of Kleenex, and the price was actually lower than what they had paid for it, and you needed to reimburse these people, but first you need to find them. So you put a query in and ask what customers bought Kleenex boxes in September, and they would return that answer to you, and it's just a quick way to sort through potentially hundreds of thousands of records in these tables. So queries are great for finding specific information from the tables. Forms and reports are great for representing that data. So once you find everybody that was in September, maybe you need to fill out a refund form, so you would just create a form from all of those people's data that you had found through the query. So reports and forms, really nice aesthetic ways to present data. Tables are where your bulk of your information and your records go. Queries find specific pieces of information from the tables. So that's just a quick breakdown of what Access is. So a database is really good for keeping records of things. Excel only can keep 3,000 records, but Access can keep hundreds of thousands. So that's why it's a great database. So step 1 says to create a new table in Data Sheet View with the following options. So I'm going to go to Create and Table, and A, rename the default primary key ID field policy number and change the data type to short text. So this is this one here. That's my primary key. I'm going to click, right click, and go rename field. And I'm going to choose policy number. Notice that there's no space between that there. Oh, I hit the enter button on my keyboard, sorry about that. And then I'm going to click back here so I can choose the data type, change it from auto number to short text. And B, add a new field with the name customer ID and the short text data type. So when you add a new field, it's always going to ask you for the data type first. So I clicked add, and it's asking me for the data type. I'm saying short text, and then I change the name. Again, notice no space here. C, change the field size of customer ID field to 7. So here's the field size here, and I'm going to change it to 7. That means that I can't type any more than 7 characters in this field. D, add a new field with the name personal property and the currency data type. Again, when I click to add, it's going to ask me for my data type first. So currency and personal property. Okay. Then it says save the table using renters as the name. So I would right click up here, save, and change it to renters. Again, like with everything Microsoft, there's a few different ways to do things. If I had tried to close that down, it would ask me if I wanted to save it, and then I could change the name then. So there's not always just one way to do things here. If you know of a different way and it works, then good. Step 2, with the renters table still open in Data Sheet View, add the record shown in Table 1. Save and close the renters table. So you'll see in your instructions there, policy number is R10223. I click my tab button to get over to 11004 for the customer ID and 75,000 for personal property. Okay, so now it says to save and close the renters table. So just a quick note here. policy number, the reason why it's called a primary key ID field is because it's a unique identifier, meaning that there will never be another R10223 allowed in this column. This is your unique identifier, kind of like your SIN number. There's only one SIN number for you, and there's only one unique identifier allowed per record in each of these cells here for the policy numbers. So to save it, I could close it, and it is saved. You'll notice when you add things in here, you don't get a back button usually. So you can only go back on 1 or 2 actions at a time, but it automatically saves. So if you want to make sure it's saved, you go right click, save, and then close. Okay, so step 3, create a new table in Design View to store the clients of Personal Insurance, Inc. who own homes as follows. So first we were in Data Sheet View, so we're going to go Create, Table in Design View. So this is just a different way to look at the table. And A says add a field with the name policy number, so your fields are up here now. Policy number, again, you don't need no spaces. And auto number as a data type, so here. B, set policy number as the table's primary key. So policy number here, I'm going to set that as the primary key. So you see a little key show up right here. Save the table with the name homeowners, but do not close it. So I'm going to right click, save it, and type in homeowners. Step 4, with the homeowners table still open in Design View, add a second field to the table with the field name, customer ID, and short text data. Save the table and then close it. So the next field would be down here, and you would type in the name, customer ID, hit tab, and short text is defaulted, so you can just leave it as it is. Then to save, we'll right click on the name, save, and close it. Step 5, open the customers table in Design View and change the name of the field named first to first name, and use last name to change the name of the field named last. So we're going to open the customers table, so you can double click or you could right click and open. And we're going to change first to first name, so we'll right click and rename field, and we will change that to first name and hit enter. And last, they want you to right click and change that one as well to last name. And then step 6 says with the customers table still open, so we're going to leave it where it's 2. We need to switch it to Design View, so we'll click this button up here. There's a few different ways you could do it. You could right click, open in Design View, you could click right here, and you can also find it down here. Okay, so now in Design View it says change the data type property for the customer ID field. So here's our data type. From number to short text. So it's already number. We'll click on the drop down and choose short text. Step 7. In Design View, add a new field to the customers table after the postal code field. The field should be named date of birth and have the date time data type. Save the customers table. So we'll right click and save. Step 8, switch the customers table to Data Sheet View. Navigate to the third record. We do that by down here, going to the third record, or you can just click on the third record that you can see there. And delete the record. So I'm going to select the record, and I'm going to go up here to the records group and click delete. You're about to delete one record. Are you sure? Click yes. Step 9, with the customers table still open in Data Sheet View, navigate to the 5th record. So they're just making sure that you know which record is the 5th one now that you've deleted one. So to check for 11003. Oops, 11006. I was looking at the wrong instructions there. I was going to say, we followed the directions. All right, and change the value to Albert's for the last name. So right now it's Rich, and you're going to change that to Albert's. Enter. And close the customers table. So I always save and close. All right, so step 10, you also need to view individual customer records. Use the form tool to create a form for the customers table. Save the form with the name customer data form and confirm that the form matches figure 1. So to create a form off the customers table, you're going to make sure that you've clicked on customers table but that it's not open. And you're going to create and you're going to click on form. And it's going to base that form off of your customers table. So you'll see you have 49 records, 49 forms here. Save the form with the name customer data form. So we're going to right click and save customer data form. And confirm that the form matches figure 1, which is just below. Alright, so I'm going to close that down. I've seen that it matches. Step 11, use the simple query wizard to create a query based on the umbrella table with the following options. So again, I'm going to click on the umbrella table, but I'm not going to double click and open it. And I'm going to use a simple query wizard. So I'm going to go to create and query wizard. And I'm going to choose simple query wizard. And it says include all fields, which is the double arrow here. And it says save the query with the name umbrella query. So I'm just going to keep going, umbrella query, finish. Perfect. So I'm going to close that down. Step 12, you need to refer to a printed copy of the umbrella table when assigning consultants to projects. Use the report wizard to create a report based on the umbrella table with the following options. So we are going to need to click on the umbrella table, not double click on it, and then we're going to go up to create if you're not already there, and you're going to go to report wizard, and it says include all fields. Again, that's your double arrow. It says do not include any grouping levels. C is sort the report by customer ID, so we're going to choose customer ID for these sorting orders, and it's ascending, which is default, so we'll click next. And D says select tabular as the layout of the report and portrait as the orientation, which are both defaulted. So we're going to click next and save the report using umbrella report. Finish, and here's our report showing up there, and we're going to right click, save, and close. And step 13, in the navigation pane, use umbrella data form to rename the umbrella form. So here's your navigation pane, and to rename something here, make sure it's closed and not open, and you're going to rename the umbrella form here. So you're going to right click on it and you're going to hit rename and umbrella data form. Okay, so just make sure that everything is closed and saved, and it should be saved with the right name, and you can submit your project for grading.